you to our first ever OPB Summit. I'm going to share the agenda and introduce a few of the speakers here. Our first speaker will be Jihan Chu from Kinetic Capital, who's going to talk about the importance of blockchain technology in China, the world's fastest growing economy. Harriet Chow from Bianji is going to talk about a specific use case for open permission blockchain in China with what we call the Wenchang chain. We'll then have a short break for about 10 minutes. And if you'll join us back then at 10:20, Yifan He, who is the CEO of Red Date Technology, will talk about an exciting OPB project that is coming up around NFT infrastructure in China. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the details of OPB, how it works, the roles and responsibilities, how we will support you in BSN China. And then at 11, we'll have a Q&A where you're able to type in questions. And some of us will be on to answer any questions. So thank you again for joining this morning. And I'm going to then pass it on to Jihan. Jihan, please take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim. Really appreciate the introduction. Thank you, everybody. My name is Jihan Chu, and I'm the managing partner and founder of Kinetic. Kinetic is one of the earliest and most active blockchain investors and crypto investors in Asia. We started in 2016, and I've been in the blockchain space since around 2013 and helped to start the Bitcoin Association, and I started the Ethereum meetup back in 2014. So I've had the good fortune of having seen a number of cycles and evolutions of technology and community in the blockchain space. Kinetic, we are based here in Hong Kong, and we are very happy to be, stalwart supporters of the BSN and Yifan and Tim and the team. My position here today is really as someone to try and help explain and maybe shed some light on basically what BSN is, the Blockchain-Based Services Network, and more specifically, this new initiative, the Open Permission Blockchain project. Now, a brief overview of BSN. BSN started, I believe, about 2 years ago or so, and it was really intended to answer the question about global interoperability, not just of public blockchains, but of decentralized ledgers, private as centralized systems. So taking a macro look at interoperability in the age of blockchain and post-blockchain. BSN is not a blockchain itself. It is a network of virtual data centers upon which clients as well as permission ledger clients are installed, which creates a network of interoperability and ideally cost reduction by bundling together and aggregating a lot of the features and tools in demand into a global network, such that if the cost is low enough, it will create a ubiquity and access to launch blockchain applications very cheaply and really open up blockchain technology to the developing world. So I think that's what the mission of BSN is. BSN has two aspects, BSN and BSN International. The international version being more open in terms of its technology-based with a commitment to go open source within 3 years, whereas BSN itself is meant specifically for domestic China and to be compliant and observant of all the rules and regulations that entails for the domestic Chinese audience. The BSN is important not only because of its ambition and its technology, it's also important because domestically the BSN is supported by some of the largest state-owned enterprises, as well as this State Information Center, which is an arm of one of the largest ministries in China. So there's really a commitment and a support mechanism to develop, to evolve, and to support this very, very large framework of technology that will underlie both domestically and regionally. And I think from a macro perspective, one of the challenges that that emerges thinking about BSN is that it's not decentralized in the way that we think of the origins of pure decentralized technology, Bitcoin, Ethereum, et cetera. And for me and our investment thesis at Kinetic, we're interested in the evolution of the technology and all of its uses. And of course, I am a decentralization fan. I'm an Ethereum bull. And at the same time, being in Asia, we understand that there are so many different ways to apply technology, any technology really. And what we're seeing is the evolution of, let's call it, of phase 2 of blockchain, which includes much more holistically permissioned ledgers, distributed ledgers, and permission chains. I think this is a story which hasn't really been explored because most of the blockchain community has been focused on pure decentralization, which is also great, but it's a different tool set for a different application framework. And I think with BSN, we finally have a very large macro, sovereign involved framework to explore permission and distributed ledgers at scale, which are different and distinct from kind of just straight databases. And what BSN does is starts to create the opening point for that framework. And I think for us, we're interested in not only DeFi on the pure decentralized sense, but hi-fi or hybrid finance. Part of our investment thesis is that, at least in finance, we will start to see decentralized layers existing and operating inside of centralized applications. One example of this would be take a large bank, a large centralized traditional bank, who in the future could be offering a white labeled KYC'd, decentralized insurance product inside of its, product offering. So basically wrapping a DeFi app inside of a centralized offering and offering some of the kind of benefits for branding, for customer service that entails. We see this happening not just in finance, but all over the kind of application space. And this is kind of where we think that a lot of technology and blockchain-based and permission ledger will go, this hybrid. And so if you take that and abstract that, we believe that there is a place for permission ledgers, for permission chains, alongside public chain and pure decentralized technology, which will be complementary and which we think will very much add on to the complete offering of pure decentralized technology. And it won't be, the kind of end-all be-all solution for everything, but we think that it starts to expand the conversation. And again, BSN is probably the most fully expressed of this particular idea. That leads us to open permission blockchain and what this is. We believe that the open permission blockchain is a really ambitious project, which I think it's most at its most broad is creating a path for crypto to operate inside of China in a regulatory compliant way. And what that means is that the open permission blockchain, is a way for public chains and, more importantly, the applications that have been built on top of these public chains to find a route to deploy inside of China and to reach Chinese audiences and Chinese businesses in a way which, again, is compliant with the rules and regulations of China and the approach to blockchain technology. So this framework is basically a pretty simple and straightforward one, which entails the public chain creating a version, a permission version of the public chain inside of China, which is deployed and has several tweaks. And those tweaks are whitelisted nodes and then token being abstracted such that tokens are restricted from being transferred from wallet to wallet and only being able to be transferred from wallet to the network to pay for gas. So the basic intention of most tokens was really to pay for the gas and for strict utility. And the main tweak for OPB is that it makes sure that the tokens, which were previously free floating and could be transferred from user to user, wallet to wallet, can only be used for a very narrow definition, which is that of the, which is that narrow definition for gas. Now, that is obviously very different, a very different offering from what public chains are, we've known public chains to be. And again, it is this very, very different, but we think complementary offering. Now, what this means is that OPB will allow chains such as Ethereum, Polkadot, Tezos, etc., to deploy inside of China, to have customers, to have applications, and to have traction and utility inside of China. And we think that's a really remarkable and very important type of development because it means that one of the world's largest markets for consumer, for technology and infrastructure, is now back open. It's a common misconception that crypto is dead inside of China. Really, what the situation is that public crypto is restricted, as we all know. But that creates an opening for this permissioned crypto, and it creates a pathway for all of the kind of developers and businesses to find a way into China. It goes beyond just the technical side of it. What OPB does is it creates a layer of infrastructure and support for applications who are coming in. It's not just about, I think the technical side. It's also about the community and having a number of different applications. It creates, excuse me for a second, it creates this ability for the different applications that are coming into China to have a framework and a support mechanism. So for example, an app that's coming into China and deploying on the, let's call it the Polkadot OPB, would be able to have a number of different vendors alongside it and developers in order to be able to support them. And it creates a way for companies to come into China and have a community of other developers rather than just trying to figure out the Chinese market on their own. In addition, what OPB does is it creates a way for foreign entities and businesses to have a valid and support system for their brand. Traditionally, it's been very hard for foreign brands to break into China. It can be very confusing. It can be very, opaque in terms of how to really get breakthrough and get brand recognition. And a lot of that is business, but a lot of it is cultural as well. And for foreign entities who are entering China, what the OPB does is it creates a pathway to have a, let's say, a framework, which is, in many ways government supported in terms of the BSN, which allows to have brand recognition on a supported platform. So rather than a pure foreign brand coming in and having to kind of achieve recognition and validation and credibility independently, having that umbrella and being on a compliant and brand recognized platform, it's actually a really big boost for the different entities that are coming in. And that really can't be underestimated. We've seen time and time again how even the largest multinationals have failed to achieve penetration in China. And for permission blockchain, for dApp developers, this is a huge boost in order to kind of achieve that. In addition, the low cost deployment, the kind of lower cost of gas, like not being subjected to kind of volatile gas rates, that creates opportunities for users to have a bit more confidence and a bit more stability in terms of approaching the market with their dApps. So these are some of the benefits. And again, it goes without saying that this really is the pathway for blockchain and permission ledger developers who are deployed on public chains. This really is the main pathway to be able to reach the Chinese market. And so I think fundamentally for software developers and app developers, if you're interested in the Chinese market, if you're interested in that kind of ecosystem, then this is a very important and significant opportunity. It goes without saying that not all apps will be appropriate for China. For example, it's possible that some applications inside of DeFi, which really rely on token trading, would not really be appropriate for this. So you really have to think about, well, what is my core application? What is the core utility? And given the kind of framework and the legal framework and compliance framework in China for the technology, is my app really appropriate for this? If the answer is no, then perhaps this isn't the right opportunity. But if the answer is yes, that my application is more generalized and doesn't rely solely on token trading, then I think that it's a really great opportunity. There are limitations of OPB, of course, as there are with any technology. Of course, it's not pure decentralization, and I think that is one thing to consider. App developers will have to adapt your application in order to make those changes to comply with the framework of OPB. And again, not all apps will really be appropriate for that. Who can use the OPB? The open permission blockchain is really open for all chains, all open protocols to see if it will actually be applicable to you. There is an application process. You apply to the BSN. Typically, it's been mostly foundations who have applied directly for their chains, and that's usually the kind of correct application process to go through. OPB will interoperate with public chains, so you'll be able to bridge assets to go back and forth. And so, what's nice about this is that there is intended to be nearly a 100% or a high percentage feature parity. The OPBs are intended to be really permission versions of the public chain. And so if you're developing for public chain, you should be able to deploy on both chains, obviously with the kind of adaptations that we talked about before. So I'll pause here, but really what I want to kind of conclude with is these kind of 3 points. The OPB and the BSN itself is really an evolution and a complementary way of thinking about where does blockchain technology in all of its flavors and all of its kind of aspects go. Pure decentralization is not necessarily the only application of this tool set, and permission ledgers and distributed ledgers are also part of that, we believe. OPB, the open permission blockchain, is a pathway for public chains to compliantly operate and legally operate and market and achieve kind of traction inside of China, as well as for the decentralized applications or which can adapt and launch in China. And that's an incredible opportunity to kind of achieve new customers. And then finally, I think that this is really an evolution of where we're going, and I think it's an incredibly exciting opportunity. So thank the entire BSN team for allowing me to kind of share on this, and hope to engage with all of you. Feel free to reach out to me on my normal channels at Collectionist on Twitter, Jahan at kinetic.capital on email, and I'm always happy to help share and educate more people about BSN as well as the OPB. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank you, Jahan. Appreciate you taking the time to give your view about the BSN and OPB. Harriet, I'd now like to hand it over to you. Harriet is from Bianjia, and we'll talk about what we call the Wenchang chain, which is an OPB in China. And she'll talk about some of the applications and real use cases for that. So Harriet, over to you.
Thanks, Tim. Hello, everyone. My name is Harriet. It's my great pleasure to share with you some new developments.
I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Hey, can you hear me all right? Hello? Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you, Harriet.
Yes.
Okay. Hi. Hello, everyone. This is Harriet. It's my great pleasure to share with you some of the newest business application development on OPB, Open Permission Blockchain. Actually, I would like to share with you those examples and use cases and applications on a set of presentation slides. So let me share my screen. Can you all see my screen all right?
Yes. Looks good, Harriet.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So my name is Harriet from BNJ, and we are the blockchain builders for BSN, Cosmos, and ArisNet. So let me actually introduce a little bit about BNJ. BNJ, we have been developing advanced business applications from 2016. And we are very proud. We are the global blockchain infrastructure builders, including several global infrastructure, including like BSN, Cosmos, and ArisNet. And we are also contributing open source code to several global networks in the area of interchain technologies, such as inter-blockchain communication protocol, the TERS IBC. And especially this year, we are also very grateful to get the support from Cosmos Foundation, ICF, to drive the technology development around the interchain NFT. And besides of building technology, we are also actively applying those advanced technology to address the distributed business application issues. And we're building the most complicated business applications, including supporting the blockchain for digital bank, financial regulation, supply chain finance, and healthcare. And actually, thanks a lot for Jehan's explanation of OPB, Open Permission Blockchain. And usually in the past, before I jump to explain what we can do on OPB and what is OPB, and usually people would ask me, wait a second, what is OPB? And I know like most people knows about the public chains and the consortium chains. And in the past, very often, the first question I got is always, what is the future of the blockchain? And people are debating, the public blockchain would dominate, or some people would say like only consortium chains can really hold the serious business applications. So it's going to be the consortium chain. Actually, my answer is, in the future, I believe it is definitely an internet of blockchains. Especially, actually, I use that pie chart. That is my view. And actually, the numbers it's not meant to be accurate. It's really just want to illustrate what I think about the future. In the future, I feel for the real great benefit provided by public chains, such as the security and the openness. So I believe in the future of the blockchain, then public chains would occupy the majority, 60%. And then what I feel, actually today, most of the business applications supported by the relatively closed formed consortium blockchain, eventually they will find OPB is actually a best platform to really address the business needs. And so that is why I marked the 30% for the OPB. And to me, OPB is kind of sitting in between of the public chains and the consortium chains and really take the best features from both. So it leverages the open consensus engine from the public chain and really leverages the security, and all these good features have been tested in the great public domain for many years. And so the OPB, the consensus is from the public chain. However, we are also taking a lot of good features, which has been built from the consortium chain in addressing the business applications. And by this way, to address the compliance requirement. Because for the business applications and compliance, it is a very important issue. So that is why I marked the plus here. OPB is actually, to us, when we build the Wenchang chain using the Cosmos ArisNet tech, we are taking the open consensus engine Tendermint from the public chain. And we are also like building the modules on the application layer to address the business requirements. So here, a little bit introduction about the Cosmos ecosystem, because that is a technology we have been building for the past 5 years. And that is also the base we use to build the Wenchang chain. to me, I also feel like the innovations from Cosmos ecosystem to our industry actually has three parts. The first part is Tendermint. The famous consensus engine has been powered 40% plus POS network today. And also like the IBC, which is inter-blockchain communication. So IBC is like a TCP, it is a communication layer protocol to address the interoperability of sovereign chain interoperation. And so let us look at the sovereign chain, so which means it is quite different from many other interchain technology. It actually gave great decentralization and also the great flexibility and the security to address the interoperability issues, allows each chain to be independent, and still the hub, which can verify and to verify the message from the independent blockchains. So in the Cosmos, actually the topology is kind of like it supports decentralized hubs, which the major role is for verify the interchain messages from the different chain. And today, actually in the public chain domain, there are already two hubs, Cosmos Hub and ArisNet Aris Hub, which has been set up from the very beginning to really demonstrate the openness of the Cosmos IBC, the open vision to really support. You can using many hubs, they can work collaboratively to address the interoperability requirements of the great Internet of Blockchain. And also today, we also build the permission hub, which is Arita Hub in BSN, which can support the interoperability among like consortium chains, OPBs, as well as the interoperability of the public chains. And in the Cosmos interchain technology stack, and it has the term called like RONs. RONs is for really address the different application requirements. For example, like consortium chain, the OPB Winchang chain, it is an application-focused chain to address people, allow people to develop distributed business application easily. And also another example, like in the public domain, is it's also Binance chain. It is also built using the Cosmos technology, especially like the Cosmos SDK, which is very modular. Allow like the open source developers, you can contribute in the modules to the Cosmos SDK. And actually we are the one of the core contributors to the Cosmos software development kit, and where especially we contributed a lot of enterprise-related features. And the Wenchang chain, it is an enterprise version and open permission chain. As I mentioned earlier, it is built using the Cosmos SDK, and actually it takes the open consensus engine, Tendermint, which has been in the industry for since like 2014, and has been used in both public chain as well as consortium chain domain. And also like we build the enterprise modules, which I will explain a little bit in the next chart. So actually, the Wenchang is launched in February, and since then, we have been asked by many people, how can we build an open permission chain? So here, that is like our understanding and practice in collaboration with BSN. For the Wenchang chain, of course, as I mentioned, well, we want like the ledger is really like an open infrastructure service, and it can hold many applications. It's not just for a closed-formed business collaboration domain. However, really want to use it almost like a public chain, and it can address many distributed business applications using the same ledger book. However, as I also discussed earlier, for the business applications, we really need compliance to address our compliance requirements. So that is enhanced part for the permission management. Of course, the distributed ID, DID, and also supports the KYC and the permission control, which actually need to be configurable to allow us to implement different permission policies and to adjust the compliance requirements. And this permission control need to be very flexible and configurable on both consensus level for the validation node, as well as on the application level for the account. So for the certain account, perhaps a certain blockchain transaction, it is not allowed, however, and so that will allow the business applications, they will be able to adjust the compliance requirements with ease. And also we are doing more actually on Wenchang chain because for the business applications, we know different countries, they have a different juristic requirement. So the current encryption model, the methods on Wenchang chain, it is configurable and pluggable. And actually for Wenchang chain, we replaced the ISO-like standard crypto methods and using the China national cryptography standards. And there are also many other enhanced features because we know actually one challenge for public chain cannot address a serious business application. It is because it is very weak for the public chain. It is very weak to support data with big size. And also like public chain is really not good for privacy preserving because we know like you can see every transactions and you would be able to interpret the memos and messages in the every transactions on the blockchain, on the public chain. So that's why like for the OPB, for the Wenchang chain, we also like implemented the enhanced layers and features to address the big data requirements as well as the privacy preserving. So here it's a little bit illustration and the topology. And also in the earlier discussion, Jae-Han also explained the great benefit of the BSN as an infrastructure is it supports the interoperability. So we are very proud, like we are contributing Arita Hub to support the BSN interchain communication. So that is in the center, you can see like the Arita Hub. Also, I explained it is almost take the same features as Aris Hub in the public domain. However, it is a permissioned version to allow you to better manage the permission and the compliance requirements. And Wenchang chain deployed in BSN, it leverages the Arita Hub. They can contribute, they can communicate, and even to support many interesting use cases, which I will explain later on. So, for example, the global commerce to allow the trustworthy data in the form of NFT and to transfer between different networks according to the business requirements. So, since the launch of Wenchang chain, there are already a bundle of application has been deployed on Wenchang chain, and I just pick up a few examples. And one example is what we actually I forget to explain like some of the nice features of Wenchang chain. Let me see if I have. Oh yes, this chart. The text is a little bit small, but if you watch the around those icons around Wenchang chain, those are the unique features. As I mentioned, IBC supports the interchain interoperability, and also a very nice module we took from ArisNet, which is for iService. So that is very convenient for many enterprise application developers because they all very familiar with the service-oriented structure. So iService actually gave them a very easy interface. They are able to really tie in their computational process as a service. And of course, NFT, especially on the Wenchang chain, powered by the interchain technology, the NFT can be trustworthily transferred through the Internet of Blockchains. And big data privacy, I mentioned. So here, the one example service which is already on Wenchang chain is the trusted identity service. It is fully leverage the iService interface. It is developed by the group, our collaborator, Nanjing One Identity Corporation, and they already have the API service traditional way to provide the identity verification service. So they are able to use the iService interface very easily to tie in their API and provide that as a blockchain service. So today, in the scenarios such as like e-commerce and the government service, and if like in those applications, if they want to verify, if, for example, if their ID card, if that is true, then we are using the privacy computing methods to protect the privacy of the data. However, still across the blockchain would be able to call up this iService and to verify if that information is true, if that information provided to, say, like to the e-commerce platform is true. And NFT is very hot today. And there's also a very nice NFT application. The Chinese name of the application is called Moka. And actually in the Cosmos and Aries ecosystem, and people are already familiar with this team. This team is Uptick. So this is also developed by the Uptick team. And as actually Jehan also mentioned earlier, like when we are deploying on OPB, it really opened door for many application in the past. They are in the crypto domain, and they can also be used for serious business applications. So Uptick team, when they are adapt the Uptick to OPB in China, and they upgraded that with a lot of compliance requirements and focus on the true and core utilities of the application. So like the public chain domain Uptick, it supports the digital collectible cards. And for like this freelance artist, they are able to leverage this application to share their work. And of course, the payment and all these things is handled is not through the crypto. However, it is using the third-party payment service such as Alipay and WeChat Pay. And also like more things, more than like in the public domain and a public chain domain. On OPB, Uptick is today, it even supports more what we call O2O, online and offline business collaboration. And so this is like for like the functionality in the Uptick Moka to support the electronic ticket issuing. So it really allows the small and medium business owners, they are able to create their promotion events. They are able to set up the business coupons for their business. And this is just a few screen. So for the SMB owners, when they go to the business owner version of the product, then they are able to create an event, and they can see like all the promotion activities. They set it up, and also they can set up the digital tickets, the digital coupons to adjust, to use the blockchain, use the NFT to help them to adjust their business needs. And in this example, so this is an event set up for the certain time, and then what is the location and all these things. And during the promotion period, and then the business owners, when their guests come, the guests can show the NFT and the coupon they claimed, and then through the mobile phone, and the business owner can just scan the QR code and can verify and write off then this coupon. So, and everything like it is from the ticket itself, and also the whole business flow and the key information, and that is all supported and captured on the Wencang chain. And of course, the certain encryption method is involved if the business privacy need to be protected. Another example, and this is the third example. This is the application actually launched on Wenchang Chain in March, 1 month later after we launched Wenchang Chain. It is also using NFT. However, use NFT to support the electronic license and the certificate issuing. And this is to support Sichuan Dujiangyan city and their initiative to provide paperless government service. And it is really nice, especially in today's the post-pandemic era, and it really can cut down the physical visit of the SMB business owners as well as individuals, the government office visit. And through the blockchain, it improves the turnaround of the business process, because using this electronic license, it enables the cross-department collaboration in the government service domain. And it also provides the process transparency. And of course, it's environmentally friendly, save paper. And also, most importantly, gives a better service experience to the business and the individuals. So this is for the government service. And this is the last example I want to share with you. And actually, I know like today in the public chain domain, NFT has been used for digital art. And in the business application domain, actually NFT can really do a lot of things. It's not just offer virtual digital arts. And here, this is our collaborator called Soyun Keji. They have been creatively and innovatively create their application and leverage the NFT functionalities provided on Wenchang Chain. So what do they call this as IDA, the Integrated Digital Art Work? And it is an NFT. However, it leverages the rich features and supporting tools from Wenchang Chain. It is able to really model the complicated real-world entities. And so in this application, it supports the global commerce of Chinese traditional fine arts, including porcelains and fine paintings. And in the NFT itself, actually, it holds the information such as a quality certificate, storage proof, bill of lading, etc. And so the benefits of Wenchang Chain together with interaction technology is it allows us to really address the juristic requirements from the different country and region. So domestically in China, when the business operators and they're selling out these goods to their first line distributors, we domestically, that is on Wenchang Chain, and fully set up to address the compliance requirement in China. And however, for those international art dealers and artwork distributors, then with the real commerce background and this NFT holding the important information, as I mentioned earlier, bill of lading, etc., can be transferred safely and in a trustworthy way to the public chain domain. And so this is going to be a very exciting scenario, so people can looking forward. And currently, it's planned to the business process is going to be launched in the next 2 weeks in November. And so I really like. So I really want to call people so you can pay attention to perhaps like the IP pubs, the YouTube, as well as their Twitter accounts, and for the announcement. And we would be able to see really nice real entity Chinese fine arts produced by say like Rong Baozai, and will be able to get sold on OpenSea. And then the good itself is hosted in Hainan. And so they to address the global commerce requirements. So So those are the business applications currently already live on Wenchang chain. And actually, besides of that, the OPB really opens a lot of potentials to allow us to address the business requirements in the open system. And so there are also other things, for example, the digital bank we are currently building. And since that is a global bank, so it's going to, I think, very suitable is we're also using OPB technology, and we want to build that to collaborate with BSN International. So as I mentioned, we are the open source developer, and on the screen, that is our GitHub account, and looking forward for you to join us together and let us build the open system together. Thank you.
Harriet, thank you very much. It's a great insight into some real world applications with OPB. That's good. Thank you. So we're going to take a short 10-minute break now so people have a chance to get coffee or whatever you need to do in your part of the world. And we'll come back at the bottom of the hour at 10:30 Hong Kong, Singapore time. And that's 7:30 U.S. Pacific time. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. And in 10 minutes, Yifan is going to talk about some of the newest developments in OPB, especially around NFT network plans. So we'll see you in 10 minutes. Thank you. I'd like to now move on to the next agenda item in our summit. We're going to have the Red Date CEO, Yifan He, talk about his view of the BSN OPB project and also the planned national NFT infrastructure in China. And so there's a lot of new information here. So I would encourage you to pay close attention, and I'll hand it over to Yifan.
Thanks, Tim. Hi, everybody. My name is Yifan He, and I'm the CEO of Red Date Tech. So today, actually, I will introduce a totally new project based on BSN China. Okay, this project is for China only for now. So it's we never publicly, spoke about this. So today is the first time. So, but this is a major development. Okay, it's not only as a product, as a technology. We also deeply talk with our regulators in China. We try to open up the NFT market in China. So this is a pretty big deal. And so let me share my screen. So the project I will talk about called the BSN DDC network. Okay, everybody is wondering what DDC means. Okay, that's something I will explain in this presentation. So first, I want to talk about a little bit, cryptocurrency and the public chains in China. We all know, China cracked down on crypto. 1 month ago. So basically banned everything from mining, trading, even news. Okay, if you publish the pricing, of cryptocurrency, it's against the law. So right now, first, it's not only cryptocurrency, it's also public chains. Okay, public chain nodes cannot be legally operated in China because there's internet regulation. Every IT system that offer public access need KYC and the government registration. So all the public chains cannot do that. So basically, public chain cannot legally operate in China, not only crypto. Okay, and also cryptocurrency are banned forever. Okay, so some people say, okay, probably after 3 years, 2 years, everybody is, adopting, cryptocurrency outside China, then the Chinese government will, allow that. From a certain point, let me tell you this: it won't happen. Okay, it won't happen. So there's, probably in 5 years, 10 years, don't even think about that. And also, more seriously, is all the financial institutions, all the banks, all the payment companies cut off payment channels for buying cryptocurrency from China. So that means even some companies say, okay, I'm running a business outside China. I let me deploy application on public chain and do some business, outside China. So it's totally legal there. But as a Chinese company, you cannot buy the cryptocurrency to pay for the gas. So which means, especially for the ordinary companies in China, basically the public chain is no longer accessible. So it's very serious here. So and this will last, probably for next 10 years. So I think Jihan and Harry, already gave you guys some, information on the, BSN open permission blockchain project. So I just very briefly go through this. It's basically it's the OPB is I always say it's not public chain. It's it's a public shared chain. It's like public chain is still there. You don't need to build your own chain, but it's a permission. And but when developer use those chains, it's just like public chain without crypto. So it's more like, you can see this as a permission fork from a public chain, layer one. So for all the OPBs on BSN in China, two things need to change. First is, pay for the gas with fiat money. Okay, so basically you use WeChat Pay, Alipay, credit cards, basically pay for the gas fees. So then in this sense, you can consider, the OPB is a kind of decentralized cloud services. Okay, so it's no longer like the blockchain, ecosystem. It's more like a decentralized cloud services with blockchain technology. And the second one is, we set up the node permission. Basically who can, deploy a node of the OPB. It will be based on the, permission from BSN and also from the OPB operator. But OPB, like, Jihan mentioned and Harry also mentioned a little bit, right now the OPB project is for public chains, almost the only way to penetrate Chinese market and also legally market the brand names in China. Okay, once you build OPB here, you basically run an enterprise blockchain, business in China, targeting governments, big corporations, even, of course, even individual developers, but it's more in the enterprise blockchain domain. We already have like 6 OPBs. 2 is under construction. There's 4 up running. It's Wenchang chain. It's from, Harry just, give us a presentation powered by Irish 9, and the Wuhan chain powered by Ethereum, and the Datang chain powered by Freitang, and also Taiwan chain powered by Physical Because. So this format will be displayed on all the portals, all the web page, all the news. Okay, so basically it's you need to rename your chain, but still your brand name is still after powered by. So NFT is very hot right now. Okay, so because NFT is always associated with cryptocurrency, so everybody is wondering, is that legal in China? So far, okay, what I can say is that so far it seems NFT as a pure technology will be allowed in China. Okay, but say that as a technology. So in China, you cannot say, okay, let's buy an NFT. You are not buying an NFT. You are buying a data or a asset linked with the NFT technology. So NFT is a technology. It's not a virtual merchandise. It's not a cryptocurrency. It's just a technology term. Okay, but because the NFT is deeply associated with the cryptocurrency, it's the government considers that it's a bad name. So last week Alibaba and Tencent changed their NFT, those 3 letters on all their websites to digital collectibles. So this is actually definitely is kind of pressure from the government. So they don't want to really market this. But we believe NFT technology will be widely used in China in the next 5 years. Okay, as kind of certificate, technology, identity, instruments. So this definitely will be huge market in here. Basically, just consider, all the tickets based on the NFT technology, all the certificates, university certificate, all kinds of certificates, and also, you can basically the government. For example, one day the government said, okay, let's get rid of the centralized vehicle registration system. Let's build all the motor vehicle as an NFT. Okay, then we issue a private key, to all the car owners. Then we make many information transparent to public and give the car owner some power to update some information. Then and also give outside IT system to access those information freely under kind of permission. Then you can see this actually will create a huge market here. I mean, not only in China, worldwide. Okay, especially a link blockchain technology to the traditional IT systems, not only blockchain application. So this is very important because we see this huge potential here, and many government agencies also say this. So that's why such very strong crackdown on cryptocurrency, but so far NFT is allowed. So, but there's a situation here is because no one can use public chain from China. I mean, even they cannot. That's very difficult to buy the cryptocurrencies. So where all the business, all the companies will deploy their NFT on? Because right now there's cases is people building their private key, then per private chain, then they deploy their own NFT on those private chain. I mean, NFT is a certificate. It need to exist for next 100 years. If you deploy on a very simple infrastructure, once the infrastructure is gone, then all the NFT is gone. So we need something very credible, everybody trust, and a decentralized, infrastructure. So that's why there's opening right now. There's no infrastructure for NFTs in China. So that's why, this is opportunity. So that's the whole background why we're even doing the project. So that's why we are building the NFT infrastructure on top of BSN China. Okay, that's basically the project is. So this infrastructure, we don't want to just use one chain, okay? Because then you basically force everybody use one single technology. What we are going to do is this infrastructure will consist of 10 open permission blockchains with different technology, with different company operates that. So that's how we want to build a huge NFT infrastructure and the ecosystems in China. So those 10 chains can compete with each other on the costing, on the technology, on the tools, development tools to make the developer easier to build their NFT applications. So this is the ecosystem we try to build. We already have 6 up running. Okay, of course, 2 or 3 of them won't be in the 10. Okay, so we will choose 10 open permissioned blockchain to build this infrastructure, and all the payments on this NFT network, which means when you when you deploy your NFT, when you do whatever you want to do with the infrastructure, you pay in fiat money. Okay, there's no cryptocurrency associated. And also we still use the same strategies. This BSN NFT network, we won't serve end user directly. We provide APIs for everybody can build an NFT portal on their website, on their app. So their end user goes through those websites, those portals to generate and to manage their NFTs. So of course, we also provide, APIs to individual developers. They can also, access to, this NFT network without the interface. But by law, you need associated with a certain portal because we need KYC. By Chinese law, you need register in a portal. That's why. So the ecosystem will be the underlying infrastructure. There's 10 chains. Okay, most of them is converted from the public chain, and there's one layer of portals. Inside each portal, you can build whatever you want. Just access to the 10 OPBs as the infrastructure. Then you can on your portal you can build anything you want, and you charge people. Okay, you charge people. Then there's on top of the portal, this all the developers, application owners, they access the portal or the API provided by the portal, then access to the infrastructure. So the portal charges the money and split with whoever runs those OPB, the operators. Then the operator share some revenue with BSN. So that's basically the business model. And also because of the open permission chain, people can deploy their own smart contracts. So we will have each of those OPB has their master NFT contract. So for the NFT generated by those master contracts, it's BSN backed NFT, which means as long as BSN exists, we back the NFT on that. Then you can deploy your own smart contract to generate your own NFT. Then it's your responsibility. Okay, if this company is gone, their smart contract no one maintains, or then NFT is probably gone. So there's two layers of NFT. It's the developers their own and also the BSN NFT structure backed NFTs. So the next one is like I said, is it's very, very flexible. You can build a portal, run an NFT. You can even build a private portal as a company. Only you can access the APIs and to manage. For example, if there's a government says, okay, in the next 5 years I will generate 10 million NFTs, then I need my own access to this infrastructure. So then they can build a private portal for their employee to use only. So or they can use the APIs to embed it with their current IT system. Okay, then they can from their existing user interface to basically manage all the NFTs. So what we are doing is basically building the infrastructure for all the business to use. And the last is, like I said, everybody is changes the NFT name, so we will do that too. So we officially call this NFT DDC network. DDC is the Distributed Digital Certificate Technology. So from now on, I will say this BSN DDC. Okay. And also a part of today's purpose is, we need more public chain to get involved with OPB project, with the BSN DDC project. Because what we really trying to do, because we believe in competition, we believe in open source, we believe in, the developers need to be easily to access all kinds of technology, let them choose, let all the chains to compete. That's how a technology really advance and how to build a healthy ecosystem. So that's what we believe. That's why we want 10 OPB, probably 15. Okay, in 6 months. Depends on the demand, and also BSN. So far, if we really see the landscape in China, this is almost the only way to access Chinese market that comply with local regulations. And also as BSN operator, a founding member, we have the State Information Center, we have China Mobile, we have very formal channels to all the regulators. We actually working with them on this BSN DDC project. We educate them, let them understand this. Actually, right now, they actually can't understand this. Like I said, when all the business building centralize the system, it's actually much harder to monitor or manage from the government perspective. When everybody use public, use OPB, use NFT technology to store, some kind of certificate, some kind of information, it's actually half transparency. It's for government. It's much easier to even access to those information. So it's much better for the government, considering it's on blockchain or it's a centralized system. Actually, on blockchain, it's even good for the governments actually. So that's how we communicate with them, trying to make this thing happen and legally to operate in China. So far it's pretty good. And also, if you talk to anybody understand NFT, think about this. We believe in China in next 5 years there will be billions, if not trillions, billions of NFT generated in China. Huge market, and no infrastructure. We are building the one right now. So then this is huge opportunity here. There's 1.4 billion people, 15 million companies in China. So, but also when you build OPB, even you are one of the 10 OPBs, with DDC infrastructure, it's not only an NFT. All the OPB support all enterprise blockchain application, not only NFT. So if you heard, the Harris presentation, you can see there's different, application there. And also, I think my colleague Tim will give you a more detailed, presentation on how to run the OPB. But in general, each OPB has one operational company. This company basically build the OPB, manage it, market that together with BSN, and the income is a gas consumption. And also this operation company set the price. For example, we put 100 union gas equals to 1 RMB. But for each action, how much gas consumed is determined by the operator. So you set your own price. If it's too expensive, no one uses. So it's this competition environment. Also, the operator actually receives the majority of the revenue. So this is if there's billions of NFTs in next 5 years, there's a huge market here. That's basically my presentation. And the timeline is we will launch the whole thing by end of January next year. 2022 January, end of that we launch the whole thing. So if you are interested to participate, please contact Mr. Tim Bailey. And Tim, go back to you.
Okay, thanks, Yifan. Yifan, there was one question just before you go. One was about the timing, which you answered. The second question was, you mentioned earlier on that there are some projects on the BSN NFT public infrastructure now. Can you talk at all about those and give any details?
Yeah, right now, when we plan this project, we are not only just do this by ourselves. We begin to talk with all the, our friends, public chains, permission chains, and also we already, signed an agreement with almost like a 4 portals. Platform. They will use this infrastructure. So those portals actually also the customer of those 10 open permission chain. Which one they will use? Talk to them, work with them, So, and also we even have a partner outside China. They will build a portal, serve multinational, big corporations. If they want to deploy NFT in China, then go through their portal. So there's, and also we are working with some, application owners. Like there's art exchange in Hainan province. They basically will build their entire exchange based on the BSN infrastructure. So we already begin to build the ecosystem. I talk to all the potential customers, potential players, almost every single day. So this is a major project, and what I see here is almost every single major company who have copyrights or certificates, they are considering NFT. Okay, one of the platform we work with is a major movie and TV program producer. Okay, they will basically use all their copyrights, their IPs to generate NFTs. So right now they are also building their platform connecting to our infrastructure, because this will become the worst, the most trustworthy and the most stable infrastructure. I missed the one point. The OPB will not only on BSN, because one question is, if entire BSN is gone, where's we will lose all the NFTs. So for the BSN DDC infrastructure, we will allow outside nodes, which means, for example, for the infrastructure, eventually there's 150 nodes, for all 10 OPB. Then on BSN, probably 50. Then another 100 set of nodes will be outside BSN. Some local government, some big corporations, they all build nodes. So we truly change this to a decentralized permissioned structure. So who will set up those nodes is definitely very credible sources. So eventually, even the BSN is gone, the infrastructure is still there. And even in the next 2 years, we probably expand this outside China. So become a permissioned global infrastructure. So this is, a little bit long term. Yeah, that's it. Tim.
Great, thanks, Yifan. Yeah. So we're going to shift and talk a little bit more around the process and the structure for how public chains can get involved. And I'm going to share my screen now. As every speaker here has talked about, the Open Permission Blockchain Initiative is a way to adapt public chains that enable them to comply with Chinese government regulations and then be hosted on the BSN network, and then are able to be used and sold within China. So the key changes that need to be made to the chain are using fiat currency for gas rather than cryptocurrencies, and that the node deployment is permissioned rather than permissionless. And so those are the two key high-level changes. Most of the other important technical functions of the chain, the consensus mechanisms and other aspects are consistent with the public versions. When we engage with you in converting a public chain, the responsibilities on our side are we have a set of guidelines that will guide you as to how you can modify and make the chain compliant, and we will support you from a technical perspective through that modification. We will be responsible for the procurement of the local hosting resources to host the OPB on the BSN China. We have a user registration process that we've designed that we can help you with. We then, once the chain is converted, onboard the OPB to the BSN network, and then we do the local promotion, marketing, and support, which I'll talk to you more about in the next slide. And then finally, once the OPB is on the BSN, we're responsible for the ongoing maintenance of that. The public chain operator's responsibilities are to actually do the technical modification. of the chain based on our guidelines, and obviously we support you in that process. The public chain owner is responsible for paying for the local cloud hosting fees. We will handle the procurement of those, and obviously the maintenance of the nodes, but the framework provider pays for the hosting and then operates, the framework provider would operate an OPB portal inside of China to give people access to the OPB. In terms of promotion, training, and support, we typically will help facilitate a launch ceremony with one of the local governments. We'll announce the OPB in the Chinese press. We have over 10 large Chinese media partners that we use to help generate awareness. We'll promote the OPB via our social channels. We will get you involved in webinars for the China market to talk about the chain and help reach out to developers. We'll also provide technical training and support to the BSN development community in China, which today is over 25,000 developers. We have an annual BSN Global Partnership Conference, which we actually just held a few weeks ago. We would get you involved in that as a way to talk about your chain and again drive awareness and reach out to developers. We have strong relationships with over 15 local blockchain associations and blockchain industry associations. So, for example, for supply chain finance or commercial trade, and can help connect you with those blockchain associations to support your OPB. This is just some examples of the launch ceremonies and the training that we've done for the OPBs in China, and the examples of the media partnerships that we have. Harriet talked about some of the use cases for Wenchang chain, which is based on Cosmos. Here are a couple additional ones. One is on the open permission version of Ethereum in China, which is called the Wuhan chain. This is a project that was done between China Telecom and a local blockchain research institute to build a reconciliation and settlement system for electricity. And so both for electricity meter data as well as the reconciliation and settlement of electricity bills. So this is just one example, a real example of an application based on an open permission version of Ethereum. And then the other two are based on Wenchang chain, which Harriet talked a lot about. The first is a smart government services certificate system, which has been applied on over 30 different government services. And so this chain, this application effectively allows the real-time verification of business licenses, of other types of official certificates. And then the third example is NFT related, or should I say DDC related, using some of the new terminology. It's a digital art registration services platform, again based on the Wenchang chain on Cosmos in China, and allows the transfer of artwork based on NFTs in different networks. So these are just really three examples. There are literally hundreds of projects in the pipeline for new applications based on OPBs, and we plan to release some more information about that soon as those projects go live. So at a high level, the commercial terms of working with you on an OPB, there are really three key components. Once the OPB is live, there's an annual operation and maintenance fee that's payable to Red Date. That's a fixed amount. We also will have a revenue share with the framework operator. So the framework operator makes a framework usage fee, which is the revenue that they get from operating the chain inside of China, and there's a revenue share arrangement between Red Date and the framework operator. If the revenue share for Red Date exceeds the annual operation and maintenance fee, then we waive that annual operation and maintenance fee. And then finally, I mentioned that there is a cloud hosting on the BSN China network, and the framework operator is responsible for paying for the cloud resources to operate on the BSN in China. And that's anywhere between 5 and 10 nodes, depending on the number of applications and the traffic. So this is a very high level overview of the commercial agreements that we can make with the public chains to support them in operating public chains inside of China. We'll now shift to a Q&A, and you can ask questions and we'll try to answer them online here. I've also provided my email address there. You can contact me here at tim.bailey@reddatetech.com if you want more information, or if you're interested in learning more about how you can be part of the OPB project. There's obviously a lot of interest right now, and I think as we talk more and more about the DDT project that Yifan mentioned, there will definitely be increasing interest. So we have a few questions from the audience. One is, how can I get access to these presentations? Please send me an email. There's some of the presentations that we can release now. Some of them may require NDAs, but please contact me at the email address you see on the screen, and we can provide you versions of the presentations so you can get more information. So we're waiting for more questions here. There's a little bit of a lag between the YouTube questions, but please do submit your questions. Well, it looks like we were able to answer all the questions as we went through the presentations today. So I would encourage you, if you do have questions, to contact us. Oh, sorry, there is one more question before we go. Do you think you have competition in the OPB space? It looks like Xinhua Chain is doing something similar. Let me direct that question to Yifan. What he views the landscape in China.
First, there's many OPBs out there. Unchain has one. Baidu has one. Almost everybody has one OPB out there. Have you guys seen any news about them? Have you heard any application on them? and this is definitely we have competition. I think there's no competition with BSN, but there's competition to the OPB project. Okay, and we believe there's no competition with our DDC project. Okay, no one built 10 chains, support different technology. Each commercial company, they just use their own private chain as an infrastructure. That's not credible enough. So for OPB, but with BSN ecosystem, that's my own opinion, is the most powerful ecosystem in blockchain in China. Okay, and we are also play fair, which means we integrate as many technology as possible. As a public chain, can you work with Ungroup? Can you? No, they will only use Unchain. Can you work with Tencent? No, you can't. But we are working with both of them right now. So it's BSN is an ecosystem. Okay, it's an environment. We just put all the technology together. So it's totally different from just one OPB out there. So that's huge difference.
Sorry, Yifan, there's one more question that I'll direct to you. Can the OPB connect to the public chain mainnet?
Very good question. Actually, I just discussed this with Harry yesterday. So first, definitely able to do that, but because we are still, this is totally new territory. Okay, there's no regulation. We don't know how that works. So we will discuss. We are already in discussion with regulators on this. So far, when you generate, for example, when you generate an NFT on OPB or DDC network, then if we will provide interoperability for them to transfer those already in China to public chains, that will be supported. And if it's the same NFT, you transfer out and it will be able to transfer in. But if it's a NFT originate on public chain, for now, it will not be allowed to transfer into China. So it's a little bit elegant, but this is so far the design, until today.
So it's still a work in progress to figure out exactly.
Yes, but it will allow transfer from China to public chain. Okay, so this for sure. Harry, can you also talk about this a little bit?
Yes, actually, like within this year, within this month, in the BSN China domestic environment, we are already upgrading the interchain protocol to allow the interchain NFT be able to transfer across the network. And also as a test case, which also Tim also shared earlier in his slides, as well as I explained. So we started with a small step. For example, to support the global commerce, for those rigorous use cases that we have a serious commerce background, and so we will allow this test case to be tested out in this quarter, and then gradually. So basically, we want to use the technology for the global good benefits, and then. So as also, if I mentioned earlier, this is a very delicate and also subtle area, and we want to test it with professionalism and also rigorous attitude.
So I think that's an important point that you mentioned, Harriet, about the interchain services, and that's what really it's the interchain services that we've integrated into the BSN is what enables the connection between an OPB and the public version of that chain.
Right.
Yes, that's actually one point I missed. It's for those 10 OPB within the BSN DDC infrastructure. Actually, with Harry's technology and some other companies' technology, we will allow you to transfer, move, and copy NFTs from one chain to another chain easily. So because it's NFT, it's not cryptocurrency, so it's really up to the application owner to do that. They can lock up one NFT, copy it to another chain, and destroy this one, and keep both of them. It's totally up to you. So that's one major function among those 10 OPBs. You can transfer among them. The developers can transfer among them very easily.
Right. But one important point I want to make is I think some of the questions are asking, can the OPB connect directly to the public chain mainnet? And the answer is that they go through interchain services.
And one way, not a two-way street. It's a one-way street to start with.
Correct.
I also want to add one point. So that is why we are designing this interchain transfer through two hubs. So one hub is a permissioned version, and also another hub, like the Iris hub in the Cosmos ecosystem, that is the open network. So through like this multi-hub way, so we should be able to address permission requirement from the different juristic area, and to really support like our vision of Internet of Blockchains. It should be, especially for the business applications, it definitely need to be legal friendly, so the regulation friendly, and also support the compliance requirement. So the short answer is yes, the OPB can connect to the public chain mainnet, but it needs to go through multiple hubs. And the multiple hubs in the different juristic area, they will address the compliance requirements, or like will be operated in the open network fashion.
So there's another question, Yifan, I'll direct to you related to DDTs. Can you tell us about more use cases? Is it only art and digital certificates?
No.
And then the second part to the question, Yifan, is what is the business model for the DDTs?
Okay, very good question. First, consider the certificate technology. Okay, so basically all the tickets in China, all the tickets, movie tickets, any tickets, sport tickets, all the tickets can be billed as NFTs. And all the university, all the school certificates, grade cards, everything can be built as NFTs. And all the government IDs, I made the example, like the motor vehicle department. Okay, right now when you register your car, it's in a centralized system. I believe in 5 years, the most 10 years, some of the centralized government IT system, they will convert into a decentralized NFT-based system. So each NFT is a car, and each car owner owns. I mean, this actually apply to many things. All the real estate, all the and all the stock trading accounts can be based on NFTs. So just think about everything, all the central system to verify who you are, and there's a data set under your name can be converted as an NFT-based system. So almost everything. So this is how powerful this technology is. That's why we push this technology in China, because we think it's powerful technology. Nothing to do with cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is just this technology, one tiny user case. Okay. And the business model is different layers. Okay, like I said, whoever, let me make a 4 layers business model. Okay, there could be someone just running the NFT services, which means they don't care about the infrastructure. They just run a business. It's targeting university. For example, they serve university for them to issue all kind of NFTs. It could be certificates, it could be education, certificates. It could be some kind of training, results, everything. Then they work with the university to provide technical support, to provide APIs. This actually one layer of business. Okay, they don't care about the portals, they don't care about chains, they just provide how to integrate the NFT technology to the existing system. Then, like I said, those will charge the end user, the universities. Okay, then they need go to a portal to have access to this infrastructure. So they don't even need to run a portal. Okay, then the portal layer basically provides services to end users, or some company like this. Okay, if you need API, we provide to you. If you need this tool, we provide to you. So you just serve your business. Then those customers pay portal. Okay, the portal basically receive the money, and the portal will settle with OPB operator, because the OPB operator knows which portal, how much gas you spend, and they will settle with the OPB. And the OPB operator will settle with Ready for running on BSN, and we provide the fundamental, the underlying support and the marketing, everything. So this is actually from customer to the solution company, to the portals, to the OPB, then to the BSN. So different layers. And of course, if OPB operator say, okay, I will have 50 people running in China, directly provide solution and technical support to end customer, that's fine. You capture all the revenue by yourself.
Great question. Okay, one question, and I can take this one, is when you choose public chain partners, is there anything specific that we're looking for other than being a public chain? I would say that we're very interested in public chains who want to get into the China market and are focused on real world use cases that can leverage blockchain technology. So if there are any public chains out there who are excited about the opportunities in the Chinese market, I would encourage you to contact.
Yeah. Also for the OPB, for the NFT DDC, okay, for the DDC project, when we pick those 10 OPBs, we want different technology. So if you just use Ethereum code to build your public chain, then you are no different with Ethereum. Then we don't think you can join the 10 DDC infrastructure. We want different technology. Okay, so developer can choose which technology most suitable to their business needs. Then each OPB provide more tools, more to update more for the Chinese market. That's how we want them to compete with each other. You cannot say, okay, those two OPB are exactly the same. so that's not going to happen.
Right. Part of our mission is providing choice of technology. Right. Another question that comes up is OPB is permissioned. How scalable is it?
I mean, first, the efficiency is really depends on the layer one. So, and because it's limited nodes, it's definitely, I mean, the worst case scenario is it's as efficient as a public chain. But I think, if we structure this well, actually it should be scale better than public chains because it has limited nodes. And also you can, based on this permissioned framework, you can actually build a better consensus, better, P2P communication, and it's only in China. So the physical distance of the nodes is also, close. So it should be performed better than public chains.
So a general question, and I'll direct this to you, Yifan, as a public chain, if I'm a layer one public chain owner and we make the changes in the chain and we work with the BSN to help promote the chain in the China market, do we need to work with any other Chinese company to actually run the business in China?
Yes, I actually suggest that in the beginning, find a local partner. Okay, BSN can actually provide a lot of local partners, for you guys, but that add one layer of revenue share. so it's that's actually in the beginning, find some partner as portal operator or solution operator. So then you're working with them. If you don't want to set up your own company in China, we can introduce to you to almost the local partner in the different province. Okay, China is huge. You say, okay, let's start from Beijing. We will introduce some Beijing partner to you. Okay, so they have access to the government market. They understand the business here, everything. But the long term, if this going well, you don't even need me to say anything. You will set up company here to capture more market share and more value.
So there's a question from some of our friends in Australia asking about whether this will strengthen the credibility in supply chain data, and do you think that regulators will eventually demand digital data in the future?
For sure. That's for sure, because entire IT system, what's the purpose of IT system in general is make things more efficient and drop the cost a lot, those two things. So eventually when you deal with China actually, the Chinese government in past 15 years, they actually understand IT much better now, and that's why actually for some government system, the Chinese government system is the most advanced in the world, okay, because they handle so many people. So that's why I think in the future, all the trading, all the data in and out of China, it will be convert to electronic, and also personal. I believe many of them will based on NFTs. I mean, just another example. All the invoice in China, all the tax is charged based on official invoice. All the invoice will become NFT. Do you know how many invoices issued each year? Billions. Billions. Invoice alone is billions.
Another question, is BSN working on this DDC project with Ant Chain and Tencent Chain? Because it seems like they're moving in a similar direction.
First, we leave 3 spots for Chinese chains. Okay, now it's already in discussion. I cannot disclose who will join, but we are talking with all of them. We actually choose some of them, but in general, we welcome all the major players to join this. Okay, we welcome. I mean, that's why I mentioned it could be increased from 10 OPB to 15. if everybody want to join with I mean, personally, I truly believe competition will bring good results. Okay, I want
Very good. Well, I think that's all of our questions. We had a lot of questions and a lot of interest on this topic. I want to thank our guest, Harriet, for joining us today and talking about your experience on OPB in China, and Yifan for sharing a future vision of DDT and what it means for public chains in China.
Tim, DDC, the name is so new.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry,
it's okay.
I misspoke. DDC.
Yeah.
I combined DDC and NFT.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you both very much, and we look forward to talking next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks very much. My great pleasure. Bye now.
Thank you, Kim.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.